So 22nd of February 1943, campaign version of Baptism by Fire. A big old turn, as you would expect probably for the 22nd. Penultimate turn basically. You can see there, I've just shown you with a little chart thing that I keep writing all these things out on. Good weather, first time for a little while, so great roll for the Axis. They got 5 air points. I think they only managed to use 2 of them, but had air points available. Took us 4 rolls to get initiative, with the Axis eventually winning. We rolled same roll obviously each time. So how did it kind of go? Well, huge turns really, because and it started really strangely because first unit up was Stenkov, and Stenkov actually failed SNAFU the first time round and then failed activation. So essentially Stenkov has done nothing during the 22nd. Very poor when you think it was support and shoot to push up into this zone here. Trying to think who was next up. Next up was First Guards, so the unit there in front. I think First Guards actually temporarily took back. Well, you can see where I've still got the objective arrow there at just outside of the objective point below Spiebe. So yeah, First Guards temporarily took that back. But yeah, they were never going to be able to kind of hold on to it. They failed a second activation. And that was that really. Lang again didn't do a lot, just pretty much consolidated. It didn't need to do a lot. It's grabbed those 3 victory points. So that was kind of him. Welbert kind of just moved across again to cover Hydra, cover the rear of his position, and still try to hold on to the victory points there. 34th Infantry, well, these are really or I guess both of these, because as I've done a separate little thing, these guys with the Guards effectively got cut off. Again, they were more spread out. In their activation, they tried to push down the road and take on Gerhard, all to no avail. So yeah, disappointing turn. They did have units, well, those 2 units I think at the back that you can see that are flipped to 8s. They both, I think, were thrown back from positions alongside the Panzer unit there in Gerhard's activation. Yeah, they're in deep trouble obviously because they've got no combat trains, hence the MSR1 blocks. Yeah, they're going nowhere. I think in some respects that the game has kind of ended, because we did try to counter-attack with them, and they just, even, I mean, Panzer in the open's a perfect thing. It gets a positive modifier. Infantry, trying to get it to move, you need big rolls, because obviously the Panzers I think are 5s, and I think the infantry are only 3s in this. So 34th, can't really do anything. At a higher level, one of the decisions that I'd made, and it was already made I think before, no, it was made just as this kind of situation was developing, was the arrival of the artillery, which is the best artillery unit in the game, the 9th Infantry Division's artillery. But to be honest, because they were surrounded, you couldn't actually assign it to the 34th. Otherwise, that might have given them a chance to kind of make more of a fight of this. But because of the speed of Gerhard taking that rear position, that was no longer an option. So the 9th Infantry Division's artillery went to the Big Red 1, 1st Infantry. Which I think we can go to now, really, probably, because this is the other side of the equation, if you like. You can kind of see it's all falling apart, really, for the Allies. Dak managed to push through that secondary pass. So its orders this turn were to push on and go for Darfrika. You can see there's a unit in Darfrika there. I mean, it's not an applicable victory point, but it is in the rear of 1st Infantry Division, so it was going to cause them problems. So they went for it. They were also overlapping here down into Buchebka. Fortunately, that armoured unit of Starks threw back the tanks because they were within a hex of cutting that main road. But that armoured unit threw back the tanks, and then the infantry, I think, assaulted and threw them back some more. Or it might have actually hit the Africa Corps unit. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But we've pushed back anyway, and we've kind of like consolidated that position a little bit. But I mean, DAC, in a way, that was a secondary thing I was doing. DAC really wanted to go up here, which is what they did. You can see they've pushed up here. I think they overran the combat trains for 1st Infantry. Fortunately, it was a soft jump, so they were okay. But then they took Darfrika. So in a way, come with the next turn, which I think, 1st Infantry had gone. So 1st Infantry, I think DAC had done that, and then 1st Infantry had to react. So the attack towards the pass and that victory point we can see there on the Hatab River never particularly developed because they already had DAC in behind them. So we kind of just tried to hold in one place and then pull back and put in an attack this way. Again, same situation really, tanks with poor infantry. In fact, I think if I remember rightly, I may well have done one of those as a destructive barrage. So trying to get a 6 out of 3 rolls of a single die. And it didn't work, if I remember rightly. So that, certainly the first time round, I can't remember if they got a second activation, 1st Infantry, but certainly first time round all they did was take a big hit on the actual combat, because you lose the +2 suppression if you take the destructive barrage. So yeah, 1st Infantry, they can pull back, obviously, the minute they're not in real trouble. But having said that, they've got a battalion here that's been surrounded by the arrival of Centauro. And then I think Ream decided they would start and counterattack out this way. They did have orders for Darfrika, so they're kind of supporting that attack. Yeah, all looking bad there. Like I say, everywhere really. So we've only really got the final turn to do, but you can kind of see, I can't really pull back enough. We'll count the red cubes in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's, well, I haven't got the ones in the middle. I think it's either 10 or 11. There's one right at the end there. It's either 10 or 11. Obviously 34th and the Guards are holding on, but taking casualties from isolation and all sorts up there in that pocket. Yeah, it's just kind of desperate. I think this is we're staring down the barrel of an Axis win, because I can't particularly see the Allies being in a strong enough position to counterattack anyway. Okay, that's the end of that turn.